Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. I'll ask that you have your responses be verbal for the purpose of the record.
All right.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Could I trouble you to state your full name?
Jimmy Ray Rodgers.
All right. And I know that there's some issues sometimes with that last name spelling. Spell the last name.
Rodgers. Rodgers.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Rodgers, how would you characterize the extent to which you know my client, Mr. Mark Sievers?
I would say that I know Hamid Hunter better than I know Mark Sievers, which is to say that I don't know him at all.
Okay. And let's keep responses responsive to the questions asked, please. So, Mr. Rodgers, where are you from?
Paris, Missouri.
Okay. Have you lived in any other states?
Only while incarcerated.
You bring up an important point. Mr. Rodgers, have you ever been convicted of a felony in any state or the federal system?
Yes, I have.
How many felonies have you been convicted of?
3.
Okay. And have you ever been, besides what brings us here today, have you ever been incarcerated?
Yes, I have.
And since you were 18, how many times have you been incarcerated?
I've been,
Excluding this.
because I caught a probation violation on this, I would say twice.
Okay. All right. And how old are you, Mr. Rodgers?
I am 35.
And when these matters went to trial around 2019, how old were you?
2019, I would have been 29 years old.
And now, I know that you indicated that you don't know my client particularly well. How do you know my client?
I met him at Curtis Wayne Wright's wedding, as well as at the wedding party of Curtis Wayne Wright.
Well, then let's talk about Mr. Curtis Wayne Wright, because I think he's the nexus here. How did you know how did you first meet Mr. Curtis Wayne Wright?
I was incarcerated with him in the inside of a county jail, which is also a federal hold facility in St. Genevieve, Missouri.
Okay. So you encountered him. Was he also an inmate there?
Yes, he was.
Okay. And I guess, was he a bunkmate? Was he a podmate? How did you come to meet him there?
I got to know him. We were living inside of an open pod, and I don't know, Florida's kind of different, but inside of Missouri, it's segregated more or less by race when you're incarcerated. He is one of the only other white guys inside the pod that I was in.
Okay. And I guess, was your association with him any personal benefit to you?
Yes, it was, because he's got a background in martial arts, and I know him having 19-inch arms, being a 200-plus pound guy, it's a good guy to have on your side, at least in a county jail setting.
Can you recall, what's his stature? About how tall is he?
5'10".
Okay. How tall are you?
5'10".
Okay. Now, before we get more into you and Mr. Wainwright, let's talk about you before you were incarcerated. So you grew up in Missouri.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your family, mom and dad.
My mom, she passed away when I was 9 years old of suicide. My father passed away whenever I was 17 of heart failure.
Okay. So, I guess from age 17, were you on your own? Did you have a guardian?
I was on my own. My brother was never actually appointed as my legal guardian, so I was just living at a house on my own at 17 years old.
Okay. So, well, let me ask about that. You mentioned a brother. Do you have any other siblings?
I got 2 half-sisters.
Okay. And are they in your life or in your family at all?
Lisa is, Jennifer not. I don't actually know my sister Jennifer. I've only met her a handful of times.
Okay. So, I guess, how old were you when you first met Mr. Wainwright?
I was 20 years old. I was 20 years old.
Okay, so you've been on your own for a little bit, got in trouble, get incarcerated. You meet Mr. Wainwright at that point.
Yes, sir.
How close were you with your brother once he came back to be with you after your parents died?
We, had been separated for many years, but me and my brother became pretty close.
Okay. And was he around like when your father passed away?
No, he was in Iraq.
Okay. Was he in the military?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I guess, do you have much family at all before you go into jail and are incarcerated and meet Curtis Wainwright?
I have a bunch of people I'm related to, but not necessarily what I'd say family.
Okay, not a nurturing support system.
Exactly.
Okay. So, I guess, how long were you and Mr. Wainwright incarcerated together?
Around a year.
Okay. And at the conclusion of that year, how did you part ways?
I went to prison, and then shortly thereafter, he went to state prison.
Okay.
And I had a pen pal that he had introduced me to, which was his cousin. So I continued writing her, and throughout the course of me writing his cousin, me and him stayed in contact.
Okay. And is that contact like through mail through the jail? Is he coming to visit you? How would you characterize this contact?
It was through the mail. Once he got out of prison, he would actually email me while I was in prison. His cousin, who was my pen pal, her and her mother, which is Wayne's aunt, actually came over to the state of Kansas to visit me while I was incarcerated. I stayed in contact actually with Wayne's mom, which is Jane Wright. She wrote me for several years actually while I was incarcerated.
Okay. It sounds like, to the extent that you didn't have much of a family before you went in, after having met Curtis and coming out, you kind of had a substitute family sprout up around you. Would you agree with that, or am I going too far?
Going too far.
Okay, how would you characterize it?
I was friends with Curtis Wainwright, got to become friends of his family, as well as how I became friends with his wife's family, Angela Wright.
Okay. So, do you two, once you're released from prison and your sentence is done, or at least the incarcerative portion of the sentence is done, do you maintain any contact? Is he out of your life entirely? How do things progress from there?
Well, whenever I was leaving federal prison, I was actually supposed to be, my approved home plan was actually Curtis Wainwright's address at his wife's, where he was, the woman he was married to before Angela Wright was my approved home plan. Because I was supposed to actually live with his cousin Christina, but because of where she was living at, I could not move in with her because I wouldn't be on the lease. So we was going to use Wayne's address as my release plan while I actually stay at her house.
Okay. So it sounds like he's kind of like enmeshing you within his family by making all of these different people available to you.
Objection. Counsel's testifying.
Sustained.
Okay. Did Mr. Wainwright incorporate you into his family or his, I guess, community? As
I
you were
got to
getting
know
closer
many
with?
people that he knew.
Okay. So, once you are released from prison, are you staying with Mr. Wainwright?
No, sir.
Okay. Are you staying on your own?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I guess while you were incarcerated, did you have any counseling or have access to any services for mental health?
Whenever I was at USP Leavenworth, they used to prescribe me Buspar.
Okay.
Say it again, please.
Buspar?
And would that be Buspar?
I don't know how to spell it.
Okay. Do you know the diagnosis for which you were given that medication?
PTSD.
Okay. How have you noticed your PTSD manifest to the extent that you have?
I have night sweats, night terrors.
Are there any things that are particular triggers for you?
Yes, lots of blood.
Okay. So, I guess, do you continue to receive any treatment or mental health supervision upon your release from prison?
My federal probation officer had me going to a place in Farmington, Missouri for counseling there.
Okay, like talk therapy?
Yes.
Okay. Any subsequent hospitalizations or medical interventions because of mental health?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So once you're on your own subsequent to your release, are you employed? You know, how do you make ends meet?
I actually met a girl whenever I was getting ready to be released, fell in love, moved to her hometown, got a job working for a company called JV Contracting, stands for Juliet and Vincent. Because I didn't have a credit score at the time, he rented me a place that he owned and was just taking my rent out of my paycheck while I was working for him.
And I'm going to interject real quick. Who is the he and the him in this instance?
Tyler Juliet,
Okay, so another individual person.
the guy who I worked for, my employer.
Okay. And I guess from there, do you ever come into Curtis's orbit again?
Yes, me and him
Let me ask real quick. Did you ever leave his orbit at any point from your release to eventually meeting up with him again?
Not really, because I moved 4 hours south of where I used to live.
Mm-hmm.
So the only person I even knew in the vicinity was Curtis Wayne Wright.
Okay. All right, so I guess you never left his orbit. How do you interact with him going forward? Because I imagine you don't need his protection anymore from other inmates, so there must be other bases for how you related.
We do a bunch of side jobs together, how I do commercial, residential, and industrial construction. Wayne collects a check for disability, so he does a bunch of cash jobs. Me not knowing the surrounding area or knowing the people, I just do work with him, installing flooring, painting houses, putting in windows, doors.
And is that the kind of work that you would also done through this JV
Contracting.
contracting?
Yes, sir. When I'm doing residential, because there's a residential side and a commercial side.
Okay. And so, yes, was employment for you more or less steady up through 2015?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And yes, were you struggling to pay bills? Like how were you living financially?
I got all my bills super low, about 25-30% of my monthly income, actually.
Okay. You has to do with where you were living?
Yes, real estate's about location, location, location. I live in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. So, from that point, how in the world does Mark Sievers become involved in your life?
We just attended a wedding together.
Well, let's talk about that wedding. When was it roughly?
In May, beginning of May,
And help me out with the year.
2015.
Okay. So, who was getting married?
Curtis Wayne Wright.
To whom?
Angela, I don't know what her last name was at the time, actually. It's Angela right now, but
Angela, right now. Right now. Okay. And I guess prior to that, had you ever seen or met Mark?
no, I had not.
Okay. When do you first see or meet Mark in relation to the wedding festivities?
He was the last guy to show up to the wedding party. We were all waiting on him to show up. That way we could go to the bar. But with him being the best man, nobody wanted to go to the bar until he showed up.
Okay, so let me ask about that. Where are you waiting for his arrival?
We're all at Curtis Wayne Wright's house, just partying, drinking.
And this is pre-wedding festivities that everyone's participating in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you mentioned everyone was waiting for Mark. Can you explain that a little bit? Why were they waiting for him, and where were they going to go upon his arrival?
We were supposed to leave from Wayne's house to go to a bar. Angela Wright already had people there that were supposed to be meeting us. There were supposed to be more people that was going to be attending the wedding that was already at the bar. So essentially, this is the beginning party at the house, drink before you go to the bar. We were just waiting for him to show up.
Okay. Do you see him show up?
Yes, sir.
So you personally witnessed him arrive at that location?
No, I just witnessed him come into the house at that location.
So subsequent to his arrival, he walked into the home?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm saying this. I was in the home at the party when our Mark came into the door of the home where the party is taking place.
Thank you very much. I guess during this time, how big is this place where this party is going on?
It's a single wide trailer, and there's probably, I don't know, 12 to 15 people.
Okay, so I guess did you have, whether or not you were staring at him, did you have line of sight on where Curtis was during these festivities?
For the most part, we would go outside to smoke. So some people would go outside, but in and out. But otherwise, it's a small trailer.
Okay.
You essentially got a living room and a kitchen that's open, conjoined together. That's where everybody's at, unless you're outside smoking.
So when Mark arrives, does everyone immediately pile into cars? Is everyone milling about? Describe what happens.
Mark showed up within, I'd say, another 10 to 20 minutes. We all left to go to the bar.
Okay, within those 10 to 20 minutes, did you have an opportunity to see where Curtis was?
Yes.
Where was he?
Normally talking to Mark Sievers.
Okay.
They were outside with us while me and Taylor Showmaker were smoking and other people that was around.
Did you ever, or can you recall a point in time where Mark and Curtis went off somewhere separate from everywhere else?
No, that did not happen.
Well, so let me ask you though, did you have eyes on either or both of the men at all times during those 10 minutes?
I can't say at all time, but I can tell you that it's a tiny trailer and I don't know, Wayne's getting married. It's essentially Wayne's party. Everybody's talking to him. Like he's the focal point of everybody's attention the entire time.
Okay. And I guess, to what extent are you aware of where Mark's at during those 10 to 20 minutes?
It's a party. I'm just, don't know how you want me to say this. We're all gathered around outside, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, sitting around on the porch. It's nice. It's cooler outside, actually, than it is inside, with the air conditioning being the way that it is, and it's hot. I don't know. So
Okay.
it's actually cool out.
Well, no, as you described it, it sounds like there's some people inside and some people outside.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the people who are inside, while you're outside smoking, were Mark and Curtis inside at the same time?
It was Angela Wright that was inside, along with her friends, putting on their makeup for us to go to the bar.
Okay. So, as best as you can recall, did you ever see Mark and Curtis go inside during that 10 to 20 minute window subsequent to Mark's arrival?
You mean our departure?
Subsequent to Mark's arrival at the party, where there's the 10 to 20 minutes.
I'm saying is Mark showed up to a party that was already active.
Right.
As soon as he showed up, we were waiting on him to leave to go to the bar. Then we had to wait on the girls to do their makeup. We were all outside, and then we left to go.
Okay, so Mark arrives, wait for the ladies to finish getting ready.
And then
they
we leave.
finish, you leave. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is the first time you meet Mark. What was your impression of him?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Go ahead, sir.
I did not like him.
Okay.
He was that guy that likes to try to one-up you.
Okay. How do you mean?
My brief interactions that I had with him and the conversations that I had, they're at the party as well as they're at the bar. Just anytime that somebody brought something up, he was the guy that wanted to try to be better than you. Give an example is I was talking with Angela Wright's friend who has a car restoration business. While we were speaking about vehicles, somebody brought up the fact I used to own a couple C4 Corvettes. He immediately jumped in, wanted to make a big deal of the fact that he had a C5 Corvette and his was new whenever he bought his and owned his. Whenever I showed my scars on my arms from laying down my Harley, he jumped in and wanted to point out that his Harley Davidson that he has now is newer than the one I used to have. Then told me that, asked me what I ride. When I told him I no longer own a bike, he told me then don't talk about motorcycles if you don't ride.
And so, at this point, everyone goes to the bar. I guess, did you interact with him besides what you've just described at the bar?
Not really. Tommy Martin, one of Wayne Wright's friends, somebody that I think, I don't know, has a pretty good character base, say. It's like, Tommy told me that he didn't like Mark. That was the general census from a few other people, so I just pretty much avoided him.
Okay. And I guess, how long is everyone out at that bar?
I don't know, 2 a.m. when it finally closes down.
Okay. So it closes down. Where does everyone go? Where do you go to?
We all go back to Curtis Wayne Wright's house.
Okay, when you say we all go, who do you mean?
Tommy Martin, his wife Jennifer, me, Taylor, Angie, Wayne, Mark. They're Wayne's friend from another Alabama was there along with his wife. I don't know their names. I know he had an old Ford truck. So the guy from Alabama and his wife took Ernie's bedroom. Me and Taylor, we took Wayne's middle child's bedroom. I'm trying to think of her name. I don't know. Anyways, we took his daughter's bedroom, me and Taylor did, and Mark slept in the bedroom with Angie and Wayne. And Tommy Martin and his wife slept inside the living room.
Okay. Well, let me ask you about that, because if I recall, you described the interior of this place as essentially a living room, a kitchen, and then a room. But it sounds like there are multiple bedrooms within
There's
this.
3 bedrooms inside the house. You got a hall. It's a single wide trailer, so you have 2 bedrooms on one side of the house, a bedroom on the other side of the house, but the middle, where the door where you walk into the home, is just the living room and the kitchen, open floor plan.
Okay.
So unless you're going to go into a bedroom down that hallway.
Okay. Well, let me back up to make sure that I didn't miss anything previously. So, as far as you can recall, and now I'm referring to before everyone left for the bar, did you ever see Curtis go into any one of those bedrooms, secreted away from anyone else?
No, the only time that Wayne ever vanished away from other people and everybody was looking for him, because again, he's the life of the party, is his friend that came from Alabama. Wayne kept disappearing to the bathroom with him and then coming back out, presumably high,
Why do you say that?
because Wayne likes to do methamphetamines,
Why do you say that?
because Wayne does methamphetamines and has been to prison for meth.
People say things about people all the time. Have you ever witnessed Wayne doing methamphetamines?
Absolutely, on numerous occasions.
Well, that explains it. Okay. Was there ever a time that you saw Mark, and again, I'm still talking about prior to everyone going to the bar, was there ever a time where you saw Mark go into any of these bedrooms on his own?
Only whenever we came back from the bar, whenever he went to the bedroom with Angie and Wayne to sleep for the night.
Okay. So, and did you and Taylor stay at the Wright's residence for the entirety of the night?
Yes, we spent the night there. All of us that spent the night were the people who set up the wedding inside the park the next morning.
Okay. So, where did you say you and Taylor were staying?
The bedroom at the very other end of the home.
Okay. If someone got up to leave in the middle of the night, it sounds like you probably wouldn't have been able to see them, or you otherwise would not have noticed them.
Only if I would have heard their car door open or close, because it's a single wide trailer. It's, I don't know, you can hear anything, kind of like a thin wall on an apartment.
Okay. So,
We're closest towards where the vehicles are parked.
during the evening, during your stay there, did you hear or otherwise notice anyone leaving?
No, I did not.
Okay. When you woke up, to your knowledge, or to the best of your recollection, was Mark still there?
Yes, he was.
Okay. So, it sounds like you can state Mark did not leave at any point during the night.
Objection, Your Honor. Again, counsel's testifying.
Sustained.
Can you advise whether or not Mr. Sievers left at any point during the night?
To my knowledge, he did not leave. He was there in the morning whenever I got up.
Okay. So, from the group slumber party in the trailer, where does everyone go from there?
We all go down to DeSoto, Missouri to where the wedding is supposed to be held inside of a park.
Okay. At what time of day do you all get up to leave?
I don't know, it was early. I don't know exact hour, just we got up early inside of the morning. And then me and Taylor actually stopped by her apartment there inside of DeSoto to grab a couple things as we headed right down to the park because the park's just a little ways away from her apartment.
Do you know if Mark, Mr. Sievers, went directly from Mr. Wright's residence to the park, or did he have any intervening stops to the, as far as you're aware?
Whenever we all made it down there to the park was all around about the exact same time. Everybody was down there. Whenever I showed up to the park, Mark Sievers was already at the park, and other people helping setting up chairs as well as putting things over the tables
Let
like
me
cloths
ask
and
you
taping them
about
in
the
place.
setup. Were there any impediments to immediately beginning the setup for the wedding?
Yes, there was a bunch of soccer moms that were at the, I was about to call it a lean-to, I don't know what you would call it, the pavilion. There was a bunch of soccer moms that were over there sitting on the tables that we was wanting to set up for the wedding.
Okay.
We reserved it, but we reserved it apparently only for a short window, so they still had a soccer game going and all kinds of other crazy stuff going on down there when we first showed up.
Oh, so the pavilion, I guess the venue was reserved essentially for the duration of the wedding,
Yes,
not contemplating the setup time.
yes.
Okay. So, does everyone wait at the scene until the setup can begin, or do people mill around and leave?
We start setting up the chairs because we could set up what we have to be able to set up. We start putting the barbecue grill together, got everything going.
Okay. And you say we were setting up. My answer, you can presume, is, does that include Mark?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is there ever a point in time that you can recall where Mark departs the location once everyone has arrived?
No, sir.
Okay. And how about Mr. Wright? What's he doing while everyone is setting up?
He's helping set up as well.
Okay. And you mentioned something about getting the barbecue going, is that right?
Yes, sir.
I guess what was going to be barbecued?
There was supposed to be hot dogs. I believe there was hamburger. I don't know. It was just a little simple barbecue, nothing spectacular.
Okay. And I guess at what point did Mark and Curtis get into the van to go pick that meat up?
The meat was picked up by Wayne's friend that has the pickup truck. Wayne
Okay.
actually rode with that guy to go get the meat and then showed up there. He was Wayne's friend from Alabama with the truck.
Matt Holloway?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So Wayne, Matt Holloway went to go get the meat together. Whenever we left Angela and Wayne's house, they went to go get the meat. They actually showed up later while we were setting up, but yeah.
When you say they, Wayne
And
Mr.
Matt Holloway.
Okay. So once Wayne arrives with the meat, you said that was kind of simultaneous with everyone else's arrival?
No, that was later than other people's arrival because it takes a good probably 25, 30 minutes to go to TK's store to actually go get the meat.
Okay. And
That's
Yes.
in Crystal City.
while Wayne and Matt are doing that, do you have eyes, or are you aware of where Mark is?
Mark's setting up chairs and other, I don't know, stuff for the wedding.
Okay. So can you recall a time prior to the commencement of wedding proceedings that Mark and Wayne left the location separately in a vehicle?
No, because we were crunched for time. So once we got finally the soccer moms to leave, that way we could set those tables up, it was time to start the wedding. Like, we were crunched for time. Because it's preserved only for that short period, apparently for the wedding, and then there's about to be more stuff taking place there at that park.
Okay. And I guess once Wayne is there and once Mark's there, are they ever off separately and alone for any period of time as you can recall?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. And what's the basis of that knowledge? Did you have eyes on Curtis 100% of the time, every minute of his wedding?
No.
Okay.
I'm not trying to keep track of everything that's going on. I'm setting up a wedding.
Okay.
Right.
So
We're
yes,
setting up chairs. I don't know,
this venue,
Yes.
are there any buildings or rooms where one could go to have a private conversation?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. So the wedding happens, you attend, everyone leaves. When next do you hear or see of Mark Sievers?
I don't talk to Mark after the wedding, ever. Like, ever. We then later subsequently got arrested, and it's like I still don't talk to him. I don't know him.